G'day everybody, my name's Chris and this is Let's Walk. This morning I wanted to talk about the effects that sport have on both your physical and mental well-being as a retiree and why it's so important to make sure you remain active so that you can enjoy your retirement as long as possible. I'm just going to flip the camera around so you can actually see where I'm walking rather than me talking at the camera today. So as you can see, I'm on my local golf club where I play a couple of times a week. Golf's my chosen sport in retirement. And there's a few reasons for that. And the first is because it gets you out and it gets you active and it gets you moving. So it's a nice 10-kilometre walk across 3.5-4 hours for a couple of times a week for me. I try and play every Thursday and Saturday, and if I'm lucky enough I'll get another hit in during the week as well. And like I said, it's about a 10k walk around the course. I also get to swing my arms and use quite a few muscles, so it's a good release of energy every time you come and play. The other thing I love about golf is that it's a mental challenge. You have to focus for those 4 hours. You've got to concentrate on what you're doing, and it's quite strategic. And it's a great game for problem solving. If you don't hit the shot you want to hit, you've got to recover. You're coming out of the rough, behind trees, or out of a bunker, whatever it might be. But it keeps you focused on what you're doing. And sometimes it doesn't matter what else is going on in life. When you're on the golf course, all you have to worry about is what's going on the golf course and not let a noise from other things get into you. So that's another reason why I really like golf. You can just enjoy the 4 hours that you're out playing. I try not to be an emotional golfer. It's fair to say when I was younger I probably was a bit of an emotional golfer. If I had a bad hole it would affect me for a couple of holes. I was never really a club chucker, but I would certainly get down on myself. And now I just go with the flow. If I hit a bad shot, well, that's okay. I can walk up and I've got another, heaps of shots left that day that I can hit. Because I'm not a fantastic golfer. So I try not to be emotional anymore. I try to take every minute that I'm out on the course as a reward to myself. I try and look at it through a lens of, I'm lucky to be doing this. So the best thing to do is to enjoy every moment of it. So whether I play bad or good really isn't relevant. It's always good to play well, but the most important thing is that I'm out here, I'm enjoying it, I'm focusing, and I'm having a good time. It's also a social sport. It doesn't really matter what sport you're playing, and it could be golf, could be tennis, it could be riding a bike, it could be you could still play cricket, or maybe a bit too old for vets, but maybe playing footy. You could be walking, running, or hiking. You could be bowling. You could be scooting and skateboarding. Really doesn't matter. If you're playing pool or darts down at the pub, it really doesn't matter. What is important is that social part of your life is there, that you get to spend hours every week with other people. For me, that's generally different people. I like to play in different groups at different times and meet different people and talk to them about their golf and other things they do, their family, places they've been, things they've done. So I like the social aspect of it. It's fair to say at my golf club the average age, particularly during the week, is my average age, my age group or older. So I really enjoy that part of it. The other thing that golf's really good for is self-control. You have to show that self-control. You have to be able to bounce back from a bad shot or a bad hole. But whilst the sport's good, sport and keeping active is also really, really good for your mental health. So when I retired about 6 months ago and started playing sport, I started playing golf again, where I hadn't played golf for probably 18 or 19 years due to work and kids growing up and all those sorts of things. It's fair to say I'd been relatively inactive. I'd get home on a Friday night and I really wouldn't do much on the weekend. I'd mow the lawns and do whatever you have to do on the weekend, and then try and do as little as possible. Maybe watch the footy, catch up with friends on a Saturday night, and then go back to work on Monday and do it all again. That really, for me, didn't allow a lot of time for being active. So taking golf up, it blocks out a fair chunk of the day. It takes up a block of time, and it's not obviously just playing. You've got to get up in the morning, you've got to warm up, you've got to play, you've got to be social afterwards, and then you've got to get home. It's probably a 5.5 hour experience, which is terrific. It gives you something to look forward to during the week. It gives you something to strategize around your time. If you've got other things to do, you can plan for it. Most importantly, it keeps you active. And it's been great for me to help me get fitter. If you've watched my previous videos, then you know that I had some health issues around the time of retirement. There's no doubt that golf has been a great activity to help me get fitter. It's a beautiful morning. I've got out here, like I said, about 6:30 in the morning, and there's nobody out here. I think the first group tees off at about 7:30, although there are a couple of groups already here, so they might be trying to beat the book and get out nice and early. So yes, playing sport, like I said, it doesn't matter what sport it is also really, really good for your mental health. It keeps your mind active, it gives you something to look forward to, and once you're out doing it, you're using your brain and you're making sure that because you're so focused and concentrating on golf or whatever sport you're playing, that there's balance. But what I find with playing sport is that it just makes you feel better. It makes you less stressed. It makes you feel better about yourself when you play well. It makes you feel better when you're talking to other people and you tell them a bit about your life and they tell you a bit about theirs, and you've got things in common. I don't know whether you can see down there, but there's a group just going off the first tee, getting away nice and early. Good on them. Wish I was playing. I played yesterday. Played quite well yesterday, so that's all good. But it's also really good for your mental well-being, and that's what I love about golf. Not only do you have to focus and concentrate on all of those things, but the fact that you're getting up, you're motivated to get up in the morning, you're motivated to get to the golf course and enjoy your 4 or 5 hour walk and your 80 or 90 swings or whatever it is that you take during the round. Yeah, that's all really, really good for your mental health. Anything that stimulates the mind, gets the muscles moving and works the brain has got to be good. So these are all benefits that I get out of playing sport. I'm going to move over here on the 18th because if they slice off the tee, they'll hit me. We don't want that. I'm not sure if I'm covered by insurance if I'm not actually playing. I'm just walking and talking. And we're walking toward the sunrise, which is beautiful this morning. It's a bit hard to see through the trees, but it's a beautiful morning. So I would recommend that as you get older and you're not working as many hours or you're retired, get back into a sport. You know, I didn't play for 19 or 20 odd years. It's probably taken me 3 or 4 months to get back to where I was before I stopped playing, but I've probably now gone past where I was. I'm probably a better golfer now in my late 50s than I was in my 20s and 30s. A lot of that's because I'm not as emotional as I was when I was a golfer in my 20s and 30s, and I can just enjoy the game for what it was. Yeah, great example of that is yesterday I had a shocker on the first hole. I had an 8 on a par 5, but still managed to bounce around the front 9 in low 40s. Yeah, when I was in my 20s or 30s, that wouldn't have been the case. It would have been a 8 on the first and an 8 on the second, and I'd have blown up and not been happy with myself and focusing on all the wrong things. So maybe as we mature, I must have been a late maturer, maybe as we mature, we handle these things better. But I find it much easier now just to be able to get to the next hole, forget what it was that happened on the last hole and move on. But you need to be doing something in your latter years or your retirement, something other than just sitting at home or tinkering in the shed or working on a car or whatever it is that you might enjoy elsewhere. Golf's great because it's mentally stimulating. It's physical. It's not a really physical sport, but it's still 10Ks every time you go out and and have a wander. You get to meet new people, you get to make new friends, and you get to see some regular faces as well. And you can always come off the golf course feeling better than when you walked on it. So if you get any comments, please leave them down below. Let me know what you do in your retirement to keep you active. But it's certainly really important, in my opinion, to do something in your retirement that keeps you active mentally and physically. Thanks for your time.